If there was enough room in the shaft. What the hell was that?
It was a weird droid.
No, outside. You didn't hear that? Am I crazy?
I don't know. What'd you hear?
Like a yell.
Oh, I didn't hear a yell.
It was like it wasn't like a huge loud yell. It was like a. Ah!
Was that me? Or
No.
or was it a stormtrooper?
I don't know.
Was it the droid I shot?
I don't know. Maybe it's. I heard it outside though. It didn't sound like the game.
Do you need to check outside?
It was. I might soon. Huh. Creepy.
Weird.
Or my brain is melting. I'm having motor function disorders, and now I'm hearing, or not disorders, but I'm having motor function problems. I don't have nothing diagnosed, but now I'm hearing things. Great. Everything's great. Awesome. Yeah. Cool.
Everything's
cool,
awesome.
Cool.
Everything's
Yeah.
fun.
Right. What were we talking about? Not KOTOR.
That you are
MMO
totally
stuff.
not dying.
You were talking about.
SWTOR. Oh shit! No. Ah. Well, I got down here.
Yeah. There's your health back. All right.
But yeah, SWTOR's pretty cool.
Okay.
It's free to play.
And I guess it still is. It sounds like it's still out. I thought it was dying or about to die, but I guess I was mistaken. Maybe I just thought about galaxies dying fucking...
Yeah, maybe. It's free to play
9 years ago.
all the way up to the expansion content.
Well, is that new expansion content? Because there's a new expansion this year.
Yeah.
Just
well,
all
back when I
expansion.
played, the new expansion was the Revan's back stuff. So I don't know. Maybe you'll get Revan for free. I'm not sure.
Interesting. Real interesting. Man, I am so tempted to get into some kind of MMO, but I am also... I know the curse. I know how it goes. But there are a couple, because, like, some of them have fun stuff. But
Yeah.
the time invest, like, I'm talking, like, general RPG fun stuff. Not the game being fun. I'm just, like, story content, surprisingly good. Production things, certain levels, whatever, right? But for the most part, it's a huge mess, long grind.
Yeah.
So I've always appreciated MMOs that have a quick pace through the main story stuff.
Yeah. So
So about the length of, say, a normal RPG, or even a little less.
when I was playing SWTOR, for your beginning, like a certain amount of levels, you had a huge XP boost. So
yeah, that's also that's pretty standard nowadays.
I did not have to
for older
grind
games.
for the entire main story.
Yeah.
I didn't have to grind at all. I just played it like a normal RPG.
WoW has
basically.
something similar. You fucking level up super fast. Because the whole thing is like, this game has so much expansion content, and with the exception of maybe the classic server thing or whatever they've got going on, there's a lot of meta stuff to do that's only after you hit the original cap of like 70, right?
Yeah.
So you can get to 70 pretty quick. Probably still a long time, but not as long as it was at launch. Instead of that being your 60 hours, that's maybe 20
Yeah.
or some shit. You can probably skip a lot of side quests and stuff too without...
No, the crazy time investment for SWTOR is like, oh man, I kind of want to play all of the main stories. And it's like, okay,
replay values, different classes.
would you like to play fucking like 20 plus hours for 8 times?
Well, you finished your main story, right? Yeah?
I did, yes. I finished
Do you
my main
remember-
story.
Do you remember how long it took?
It was fun.
Roughly?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I honestly do not remember.
All right.
It's also not a good bar because I was like, I'm gonna take my time with the Sith Warrior and go do side stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I went and did some side missions I did not need to do.
Okay. So it could have been a long time.
It could have been a long time.
So yeah, I'm gonna go back to
Die,
Dungeons
robot.
Dragons.
Die.
I'll go back to DDO real quick, because that game is short as fuck.
Yeah.
It's great. Because what the game does is it's entirely instance based. So it's Eberron. Speaking of Eberron, Eberron's out. But DDO, if you want to learn more about classic Eberron, I say classic even though it's not that old because it was a 3.5 contest winner. I guess that's pretty old now.
It's old.
No, it made me feel old.
We're 2 editions past
We're
that,
old.
man. We're very old.
We're old, man.
We're fucking grognards.
We're grognards. I've been playing D&D for like over 15 years. Which most people will be like, well, maybe most people, not most people, but for a lot of people, that's like, you're a baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta go do the spaceport.
Start. Anyway, it takes place in Eberron, because that was the hot new thing. So you can be Warforged and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
And surprisingly, a lot of things work like your normal 3.5, although you do have to get... It's kind of like Morrowind in a way, where there's 2 hit rolls, but you have to physically attack in the area that would make the 2 hit roll.
Yeah.
And I think you get conditional bonuses, but like they're bigger than normal. And so I think flanking might be like +5 instead of +2 or some shit.
Yeah.
And I think the rules change a little, because the way the game works is generally you accept missions and then go to locations and do them, and the locations are dungeons, and you queue with or without a party. And I think they scale also, depending on whether or not you have a party. Or no, I think they have recommended party sizes. You can go in with a party of 1 to 4, but some are like, hey man, you should probably go in with 4. Some are like 2's fine.
Okay.
You could theoretically solo them all if you cheese it, or over-leveled or some shit, right? But the way the game pads itself out, and if you really want to get into loot and all the meatiness of your fucking MMO grind, right?
Yeah.
There may also be cosmetic stuff. I don't really remember anymore, because that's a big thing in a lot of games, is like the progression is whatever, but if you want to customize shit, you gotta look for shit that's rare. The meatiness comes in, it's got 4 difficulties. So every dungeon is basically, or every adventure, I should say, because they're not all dungeons, but you go into an instant place, so it's usually a site-based adventure, because it's fucking Dungeons and Dragons, and has an easy, medium, hard, and super fucking hard mode.
Okay.
So the progression of the game doesn't have to be that long, because it's kind of like a traditional level-based game, and if you want better loot, you just play at a higher difficulty, and remixes some shit, and makes enemies harder.
Gotcha.
So you don't have to go through the super long campaign. And also a lot of the side missions feel more organic, because, like, there's a somewhat believable weird adventure economy going on in Eberron. It's a bustling city. There's all sorts of corners and factions and dumb shit hiding. Like, you can be doing dumb... Also Morrowind, there's a lot of, like, dumbass, like, somewhat comedic side quests. It's like, oh man, my fucking supply closet has fucking... I think fucking smugglers are stealing my shit. It's like, nah, man, you had like 2 rust monsters living here, whatever. And they're like, oh no, how embarrassing, don't let this get out to...
Please don't tell anyone.
There's a bad example, but you know, there's some goofy shit in there, right? They're like clearly super side quest things that really help flesh out the world. And its tutorial area when you start the game is like a shipwreck thing, so you literally start with nothing, just scavenge gear off a beach and then head to the city.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I remember having a real good time with it for the little bit of time I played it. It was also something I'm big on doing, because I'm annoying, is RPing in my MMORPG. I'm one of those people. I don't do it to an insane degree or get creepy with it generally. I pretty much keep it the same as my tabletop RPG stuff.
Yeah.
Because especially since I'm playing with fucking strangers, so I don't go straight into fucking weird shit. I just come up with a character concept and run it. But like, it's surprisingly easy to do in that game, because there's a degree of verisimilitude that is not so much, other than like the store chat which is always nuts in every MMO. It's like, does the public world chat have a fucking trading tab? Oh man, that shit's popping off with all sorts of dumb bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess DDO, if it's still around, is probably a fucking mess, but it's probably free to play still, so it's a pretty neat game. I had a very similar experience with the first Guild Wars. I can't sing that game's praises fucking enough, because that game is fucking weird.
Yeah.
In its design, and that is, it's a game you can easily solo, and it made it even easier to solo over time. Because that game has fairly strong story component. However, it is a team-based game. It is a game that is, I want to say, so for its main campaign, fairly easy to solo, right?
Yeah.
Also, it's got a similar thing going on where I think there are ways to increase difficulty of... I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say there's a way to increase difficulty of... at a certain point, you can redo some missions. I'm probably wrong, because I'm thinking about the UI, and I don't remember that actually, but like, I feel like that was a thing somewhere or something in it, but whatever. That's a tangent. That's not my point. The game is strange because it's easy to solo and it's easy to level. It has a very, very, very low level cap compared to most games.
Okay.
It has a hard level cap of 20. And the closer you get to that level cap, the bigger your potential party size gets.
Oh, okay.
You start the game with a max party of 4 and about... I want to say... not halfway. About 30% through. I think it jumps to about 6.
Okay.
I don't know if it gets any higher than 6, but I think you get a point where you get 5 and then a point where you get 6. I can't remember if it gets any bigger than that. The world, everything but towns, is instanced. There is sort of an overworld.
Okay.
But basically...
I killed myself.
Fall damage, of course.
I had 7 health, so...
You broke your legs. Sorry, Dash.
I did. I snapped my legs.
Sorry, Dash. We got off Star Wars. We're talking about MMOs now, you fuck. Sorry, you Dash. I didn't mean it. Your ship's kind of cool.
You're wannabe Millennium
yeah,
Falcon.
your wannabe Falcon. So, I know there's been a bunch of dumb, crazy bullshit with ArenaNet, and Guild Wars 2 did a bunch of innovative things that have since been done better by other games. But, and sadly, after seeing the game in motion, it kind of, outside of the things it does new, or outside of some of the innovations it has,
yeah,
it kind of looks and feels a bit like a WoW clone. The sequel, the first game, is very much not that. Couldn't be more opposite. So the deal with Guild Wars is you can think of your first, like, 13 or 14 levels as an extended tutorial to try out all of your classes' powers, or cross classes' powers. So you basically have skill trees, and you can learn, unlike most MMOs, where you learn a bunch of skills and then you have your bread and butter combos that you fucking macro.
Yeah.
Even Final Fantasy 14, does this to a degree. It's like, all right, basically I'm going to start every fight just like this. It has a similar sort of gameplay for most classes, but instead of having access to all of them, you have to think about what your loadout is. Because you can only bring 8. You can only hotbar like 8 things tops.
Okay.
That is, and you have all those other skills, your access is cut off to them.
All right.
You can't know and have all of them equipped. So, synergizing in that game, so it's kind of easy to solo, and it gets easier since they added a bunch of NPCs, and even AI scripts where you can sort of command the NPCs, and it's got a lot of teamwork stuff where you can ping stuff on the maps. You can fucking draw fucking battle plans on your little mini map.
Yeah. Okay.
If it comes down to it. And also it has a separate. I'll come back to my main point, but if you're really into PvP, you don't have to level a character.
Okay.
You can go, there's an arena for your regular PvE character, but there's also a separate PvP mode with its own progression that is super fast.
Okay.
That basically gives you access to stuff you normally wouldn't have. Like it's almost like a fighting game. It just gives you all the tools, and you can get different progression stuff in it. And it's just literally just arena fights like a MOBA.
Okay.
In fact, there's almost a MOBA mode in it. Like the actual Guild Wars are, they're not quite a MOBA per se, but the way those stages are laid out feel a lot like playing a MOBA. Like the team-based PvP in that game is very similar, because with your only like 8 skills per character and like 6 or 7 players running around like lanes generally, because their usually objectives are sort of split up into fixed areas. There's no minions, so it's still all like one-on-one, but it basically comes down to who's synergizing their skills better, which is very like MOBA-like, right?
Yeah.
Like once you finally get into player versus players and that, you just don't have to worry about minions, other than like summons, really.
Oh shit, I'm an idiot.
Like you don't have to worry about mobs chipping away or whatever the fuck.
Oh shit, there's a guy here.
Oh god. Oh god. But like that's a very general like thing. But yeah, you can actually skip the PvE if you just want to fucking jump to your weird endgame fight people shit. It's like you don't have to endgame it. You just fucking go. It's also a good way to lab skills and stuff that you don't have yet, even if you don't know even where you're gonna get them.
Yeah, you can go fuck around in PvP.
Yeah. But yeah, at a certain point, the game starts getting really hard. So before they added all the NPCs, and in a few places even after they had possible like full rosters of AI party members.
Yeah.
Because some areas are just pretty tough, especially depending on your class and what NPCs are available in the area. The game expects you to start working together with other people. So if you haven't been socializing, you're encouraged, you are nudged in the direction of teaming up with players who know what they're doing, or forcing your friends to play the game.
Oh, I can't believe you hit me from there. That's nuts.
Oh no, you gotta be real careful. You got 1 life left.
2, technically.
I was gonna say, this is one of those games where you have
X0.
1 extra life.
Yeah.
Because some games, it's really annoying because it's like, all right, I have how many lives? Some games, it's how many extra lives you have. Some games, it's how many, this is the life you are on, right? So I'm like, is this a game where you have X0? And
this is a
so
game
you have
with
2.
X0.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, storyline, Guild Wars, basically cheats and does the thing where you are the main character and everyone else is the supporting cast.
Okay.
So your party, I mean, you're not necessarily the main character. One complaint about the game, although I did not finish the story as much as I would like to. I keep thinking about getting back into it, even though I'm sure the player base is real small, and it's kind of like barely held together now. Although I think the game's neat enough that like I have considered trying to do let's go back to Ascalon, but Guild Wars 2. Let's go to Guild Wars 1, especially because there's a couple team members who are doing a lot for the servers for that game.
Okay.
Last I looked into it. Another accessibility thing regarding storyline progression. At a certain point, not always, but you will be just warped to the next story mission on the main map. Occasionally, the game will basically put a roadblock and you will have to travel there. That's usually more of a test to see if you're ready. Right?
Yeah.
Like, if the story missions are designed in such a way that if you can tackle this one, you can probably tackle the next. It'll usually just put you in that fucking, like, oh, you're in this fortress now. Queue up for the big storyline event, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not really raids, but there are specific missions where it's like, the whole base. You're usually in a fortress. Like, instead of the regular towns, you're usually in, like, a place full of people, and everyone's looking to party, right?
Gotcha.
And there's, like, a whole special... It almost looks like you're prepping for a raid, but you're not. But, like, there's different UI element for when your party's ready and all that. It's, like, very specific. Like, this is go time.
Gotcha.
And it's basically every large story event in the main story. Because it revolves around, like, a full-blown war.
Gotcha. Hence Guild Wars.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, the Guild Wars is, like, the side content. I'm not... In fact, there's, like, no guilds in the game other than player-made guilds, really. As far as I remember in the story. It's all about a kingdom and invasion. And an apocalypse scenario. That's
okay.
already... Mild spoiler for very old MMO now. Also, it was free to play forever. Well, I mean, it was the best thing about it was it was a full-priced game, right? It
Yeah.
stayed for a long time. I mean, I think retailers were trying to off their physical copies because it came on disc. You know, it was back in PC games came in big fancy packages.
Yeah.
Eventually went down in price just because they were like, fuck holding on to these extra copies. But generally, for a long time, sold at a full price, and that supported the game.
Gotcha.
There was no subscriptions, no in-game transactions.
That's cool.
I think it's still that way. You buy it once, you have it. I don't know if they ever added microtransactions to try to keep it alive, because it's really old now. But it's really good. It's like, if you got... For me, it's one of those things, if you don't really like the general taste of MMOs, this is something real different that might be enough.
Okay.
There is a lot... It is a little dense and a little old now, though, because there's a lot of extraneous things you can learn to make playing the game easier, but it's going to require you to remember a lot of buttons on your keyboard.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of shortcuts. You may not have to learn fucking crazy macro combos, but if you want to get all tactical with it, like if you want to be a battlefield general for your party, you got a lot of buttons to learn. It's also got some really interesting classes. It's probably one of my favorite versions of Necromancers.
Oh, okay.
You
know me and Necromancers. I love Necromancers.
The only problem with the Necromancers is their visual design.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
They're kind of cool. The keyword is kind of. Well, you'll probably play a female Necromancer, so it'll be fine. You're just a goth chick. It's great.
Yeah.
The male Necromancers look like Screamo boys.
Oh, God. I'll stick with the goth chick.
So,
that
like,
sounds much better.
They hang in, like, a crouched, like almost Spider-Man-esque, like, evil stance. It's like their usual default battle stance. They usually look okay once you got a little wand or an orb or something. They have fucking ridiculous headbanging as their dance emote. They just throw up the horns and just like... and then they start, like, just jumping and headbutting.
Oh, man, it's Boba Fett.
Do you have anything to say?
He rocketed away.
No, he just rocketed away.
Are you a boss fight, Boba Fett?
Yes. He launched a fucking rocket at you. Their design's not the best. I always thought that Guild Wars was a Korean game.
Really?
Based purely on the art. Because a lot of my early experience with Guild Wars was just seeing box art and shit. And the class art. And they probably got a lot of Korean artists to work on it.
Fucking flamethrower me, that son of a bitch.
That might be the thing. But yeah, ArenaNet's based in,
oh, none of that's hitting him.
Wherever, Washington. A lot of talented people left because of some real bad shit down there right now, or lately. Well, I guess it's not lately. I think that's all old news now. I don't know if they've had more troubles. But yeah, man, I don't know. Guild Wars is cool as fuck. So yeah, the guilds in Guild Wars, basically, if you clan up, you know, you make a guild or get into one.
Yeah.
You could devote resources to building guilds, like an actual guild hall, so that you could twink new players and stuff.
Yeah.
And have a place to go. But also, when I was talking about that MOBA shit, that is the end game PvE PvP, is fighting guilds. There are maps where your guild halls are on either end, and you have a big ass map to have like a fucking what's that game mode? I want to say it's like God. I guess that's also where the wars thing comes in, because I believe you can affect the map with like siege engines and stuff.
Yeah.
The game's not very dynamic, by the way. It is not like WoW where you can jump around and everything. It's more like points, click and drag movement, and you can't. There's no like jump buttons. So like sometimes there are some aggravating points where it's like, I want to go up.
This is fucking terrible.
Yeah, I know. You focus on fighting Boba Fett. I'll rant about Guild Wars. You can only half listen. There's man. So you know, you'll have those slightly aggravating parts where you're thinking like, can I shoot this guy from down here or up there? And a lot of times you can, but a lot of times you won't, and your character will try to navigate. They'll try to, you know, path their way up to them the normal way of playing instead of just getting to a position where they can shoot from. Or it's like, I want to...
Oh god, where is he? Where is he shooting me from?
Right behind you. I want to jump up this hill.
Fuck it.
Well, you got more of him than he got of you.
I figure if I just jump at him with the pulse
Just try to beat him the same way.
Oh god, none of the items respond. Land. Land. You're not gonna land, are you?
Oh man, it's an even fight and you're out of pulse. Think you can blast him, the shit out of him with Seekers?
Maybe. There he is. Land. Land, you son of a bitch.
Will the Seekers seek him out? He's a living target.
No.
I guess for bosses, he's shooting at you from the air.
I think I'm gonna lose this fucking section again.
Yeah. Careful, it'll take you to pull yourself up.
I guess I can, yeah.
Took like 2 damage. Sorry, I just shut up because I'm like, oh god, it's tense.
Oh no, 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 no.
On the bright side, well, God, you gotta like trade like trick shots in midair. He will hit you.
Fucking damn it.
Oh
okay.
man.
Well, I'm not doing that session again tonight. That's not happening.
Well, that was Shadows of the Empire.